Let's go to Capitol Hill now. For the first time since being named as lead of the Justice Department, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche testified before the Senate Appropriations Committee. So he faced a lot of questions, number of issues, including the just created $1.7 billion DOJ Anti-weaponization Fund. Watch.
So let's be clear. What we're talking about is nothing short of the sitting President of the United States looting from the Treasury for his own gain. Do you seriously think this arrangement is appropriate? The President telling the federal government to settle a case and let him pay billions to the people that he chooses?
What you just described wouldn't be appropriate, and that's absolutely not what happened, and that's not what's happening now. So you just set up a series of facts, most of which were not true.
No,
No, it's not. I mean,
the President has set up a slush fund, however you want to say that it got set up, and he literally will get to choose through his hand-picked appointees who gets paid that fund. That is absurd.
The President did not set up this fund. It's not a slush fund. It's been done many times.
Okay, so let's go live to Capitol Hill and CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion following all of this. A lot of the focus today is on that so-called anti-weaponization fund. How does he defend that? Because so many critics say, look, he's using taxpayer money, and a lot of people are going to get a paycheck if this goes through.
Yeah, and that's why this was really a point of contention during this hearing, as we heard from senators on both sides of the aisle really press the acting attorney general on exactly how this is going to work and who is going to reap the benefits of it. For instance, would the president or the president's family be able to apply for funds? Or what about some of these people who have been pardoned for January 6th? If they assaulted a police officer, should they qualify for these funds? So there were a range of questions about the efficacy of this, the precedent for this, and the logistics. Now, the acting attorney general said that ultimately there would be a commission that would be set up. 4 of those commissioners would be appointed by the attorney general, the other in consultation, I believe, with Congress. But then even Blanche was pressed about that as to whether or not the president would have any influence over who the attorney general may ultimately select for this panel. Blanche also explained that anyone potentially could qualify for these funds, and maybe not necessarily for funds. It could just be an apology, or it could be some type of monetary payment or settlement. But he said this is not specific to Republicans or Democrats. He even at one point suggested that Hunter Biden could potentially apply for funds, the son of the former president. So look, there were a lot of what I would say were squishy answers on the part of the Attorney General or Acting Attorney General in terms of the logistics here, which is why many lawmakers were kind of hammering him over this. That being said, there were some Republicans on the panel as they went into this hearing today who expressed support for this fund, but we did hear a short time ago from Majority Leader John Thune, who said this is something that's going to have to be properly vetted.
You know, earlier we heard from Aaron Navarro in this broadcast. He's in Kentucky. He's following voters who are voicing their choice. And I just have to ask, because one of the voters brought up the Epstein case as what influenced his vote relative to Representative Massey. So you understand that the Epstein matter also came up in questioning for the acting attorney general. What did he have to say?
Yeah, that's right. And keep in mind, the acting attorney general has been up here on Capitol Hill before with respect to the Epstein files, more so in his former capacity as deputy attorney general, when then Attorney General Pam Bondi came up to the Hill, for instance, to brief the House Oversight Committee on where things stand in terms of the files and their release. But that, too, did come up during this hearing as a number of lawmakers also pressed the acting attorney general again, kind of getting back to that fund, for instance, whether or not people like, let's say, co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell would be exempted from potentially receiving these types of funds, and also whether or not Ghislaine Maxwell or others who may be implicated in the Epstein files could eventually be prosecuted. Take a listen to one exchange between Senator Merkley of Oregon and the acting attorney general.
I want to go on to the Epstein investigation. Is it closed or open?
When you say the Epstein investigation, what are you referring to, Senator?
Well, the FBI said in last year in July that it had closed the Epstein investigation. So I'm just using their words. Is it open or closed?
I don't believe the FBI said that.
Well,
I mean, if you're referring
you're head of the Department of Justice. Is the Epstein investigation open or closed?
But I guess I don't understand what Epstein investigation means. The investigation
Well, let me put it
Jeffrey
differently.
Epstein himself, yes, he's dead. Any investigation into potential other bad guys will always be open if we have evidence that supports in any way, shape, or form that we can make a case.
So again, yet another hot topic during this hearing. Now, keep in mind, this hearing was supposed to be about the budget for the Department of Justice. And so at the outset, the acting attorney general kind of laid out some of the accomplishments of the various agencies within DOJ. But we can expect Todd Blanche to be back here on the Hill because while this was a Senate hearing, he also has to testify before the House as well. So stay tuned for part two, if you will.
Part 2, and Nikole Killion, you have your running shoes on again today, chasing all of the answers. Always great to talk to you. Thank you so much. You have a good day.